Number 1. The unusual longevity of the Hunza people. Can you imagine a place on Earth where the idea of age seems to follow a completely different logic? Picture a valley where many women over 40 still appear youthful, and childbirth at 60 does not surprise the community. It may sound unusual, but this is everyday life in the Hunza Valley, a remote region in northern Pakistan where people and nature shape a distinct rhythm of living. Surrounded by the Karakoram Mountains, daily life involves outdoor work, climbing hills, and frequent hiking. Even more remarkable is that many Hunza residents are believed to live beyond 100 years, and this is viewed as normal rather than extraordinary. They not only live long, but also maintain good health, rarely experience serious illness, and remain energetic for decades. Researchers suggest that a slow-paced lifestyle, low stress, and strong communal habits play an important role in this well-being, raising questions about whether the biological limits accepted by modern society are truly fixed. Across history, humans have been fascinated by long lifespans. Ancient stories and religious texts often describe unusually old figures, usually in a mythical context. Hunza stands out because longevity here is not legend but reality, observed and documented through modern science. Later research teams also noted a diet centered on grains, vegetables, dried apricots, and glacier meltwater. In the early 20th century, British military physician Robert McCarrison spent years studying the Hunza community and reported almost no chronic diseases, unlike many other societies. This absence of illness sparked major discussion in medical and scientific circles. Other reports highlighted that lifelong physical activity also contributed to their strong health. McCarrison did not attribute these findings to miracles or genetics. He believed the key to Hunza longevity came from lifestyle, diet, and a balanced routine between work and rest. For that reason, Hunza is often cited as a compelling example of how daily habits can shape long-term human health, encouraging us to rethink the way modern society chooses to live. Number 2. The land of resilient women. Hunza women often leave a strong first impression with a beauty distinct from most South Asian women. They are known for naturally fair, rosy skin, a trait linked to the cool high-altitude climate and their constant outdoor activity that supports healthy circulation. Many women have amber, green, or light gray eyes paired with chestnut or light brown hair, in contrast to the black hair common in Pakistan's plains. Their features are delicate, with high noses and balanced cheekbones, leading visitors to describe their appearance as a blend of European and Central Asian traits. Some anthropologists also suggest that historical interaction along ancient trade routes may have shaped the community's unique physical characteristics. Yet, Hunza women are appreciated for much more than appearance. They hold central roles in the economy and community life, instead of being limited to domestic duties as in many traditional societies, with the cultural openness of Ismaili Islam and long geographic isolation. Men and women share responsibilities to adapt and survive. In many parts of Pakistan, women rarely perform heavy labor, but in Hunza they may work as carpenters, builders, or assist in topographic surveys. CIQEM is a notable example, a women-run social enterprise that trains them in professions traditionally dominated by men. Though initially met with skepticism, the model proved successful when men left for city jobs and women took over, even receiving commissions from high-end hotels. Today, several heritage conservation projects are also managed by CIQEM's female technicians. Their status is likewise reflected in marriage and personal life. Hunza women often marry later after completing their education and can refuse arranged matches. Mass weddings at the end of the year reduce costs, strengthen community bonds, and provide an occasion to wear richly embroidered garments. The Iragi headdress, with shimmering embroidery, serves as both adornment and cultural identity, each piece taking months to complete. Gara embroidery is an important source of income, giving many women financial independence, with products sold to tourists and local craft shops. All of this is grounded in education. Literacy rates among young Hunza women are very high, and university or even overseas study is considered normal. In the traditional Barusho household, the Ruli Goose, the eldest and most respected woman, manages food stores and allocates resources during harsh winters. This shows that women's authority is not new, but the result of centuries of social organization shaped by adaptation and survival. Today, the image of the Hunza woman represents cultural identity as well as leadership, labor, and self-reliance within a remarkable mountain community. Number 3. A land that defies the laws of aging. At first glance, many believe that the longevity of the Hunza people is primarily due to the valley's unique geographical location. Hunza is often called the Shangri-La of Pakistan by tourists because of its rare balance between natural landscapes and traditional culture. Located in the far north of Pakistan, in the Gilgit-Baltistan region, the valley is situated in a region of towering mountains that create one of the harshest environments on the planet. Many peaks in the area exceed 6,000 meters, with Rakapushi reaching 7,188 meters and ranking 27th in the world. This spatial isolation has slowed Hunza's development compared to the rest of Pakistan, but it has also preserved its social structure and traditional way of life for generations. Many researchers believe this isolation has helped the community avoid the strong influence of rapid urbanization. However, upon closer examination, the geographical hypothesis begins to reveal contradictions. Communities living right next to the Hunza Valley share the same altitude, high-altitude climate, and harsh natural conditions, yet they still suffer from many common chronic diseases and have a life expectancy only about half that of the Hunzakut people. This raises a major question about the factors causing such a significant disparity. Some field reports also note that dietary habits and lifestyles differ significantly between neighboring communities, despite living in the same natural environment. In 1963, a French medical expedition directly surveyed the Hunzakut community and confirmed the earlier observations of Dr. Robert McCarrison. The study results recorded an average life expectancy of approximately 120 years, while the oldest individual reported may have lived to 160 years. Scientists also found many biological characteristics that did not match the familiar aging pattern. Women in their 40s maintained youthful appearances, kept their figures fit into their 60s, and were even able to bear children at 65. These observations prompted numerous international research groups to return to Hunza in later periods to further compare data. The significant differences forced scientists to expand their analysis beyond geography and genetics. Through decades of independent research, expeditions and experts gradually converged on a common conclusion. The Hunzakut people's secret lay not only in their location, but also in how they structured their lives, organized their communities, and maintained daily routines. Therefore, Hunza is often cited as a prime example when studying the long-term link between lifestyle and human health. Number 4. The mystery of cancer-free health. In August 1977, at an international cancer conference in Paris, scientists announced that, according to geo-oncology data, the Hunza people were the only community with no reported cases of cancer. This conclusion immediately sparked global debate, and despite numerous counter-arguments, there has yet to be sufficient evidence to completely refute it. Some researchers have even suggested that Hunza should be approached as a special case in epidemiology rather than simply as an anecdotal phenomenon. Further analysis revealed that the Hunza lifestyle differs significantly from modern industrial society. They maintain an optimistic spirit, strong community bonds, and rarely experience prolonged stress. Even in the cold climate, they bathe in cold water and engage in physical activity throughout their lives. Children, adults, and even centenarians participate in physical activity as a natural part of their daily lives. Numerous field reports describe the Hunza people as spending most of their time outdoors, traveling on foot across steep terrain rather than relying on vehicles. Their diet also follows a specific circadian rhythm. Summer is when fresh vegetables and fruits dominate meals. In winter, the menu shifts to sun-dried apricots, sprouted grains, and sheep's cheese. Notably, the Hunza experience a period called the starvation spring, lasting 2 to 4 months, during which they consume almost no solid food, drinking only water boiled with dried apricots daily. Many scientists believe this period acts as a form of prolonged natural fasting, helping the body regulate metabolism and reduce the risk of disease. Some comparative studies even link this period to intermittent fasting patterns used in modern medicine. McCarrison also emphasizes that the Hunza diet is very low in protein. Meat is only available on special occasions and is not a common everyday food. They perform high-intensity manual labor and walk long distances while maintaining consistent stamina. Their food is entirely natural, grown on local soil, and free of chemicals. Many sources further indicate that their agricultural system is based on terraced farming, utilizing meltwater from snow and ice, creating a closed and sustainable food chain. It is this combination of simple eating habits, constant physical activity, and a stable mental state that has created a health model that the modern world is still trying to explain. Number 5. The secret power of the tiny apricot. For the Hunza people, apricots are not just a dessert fruit, but a cornerstone of daily life. In summer, they eat fresh apricots on the mountain slopes, and when winter arrives, the entire valley relies on dried apricots, a food they simply call Hunza gold. From breakfast and children's snacks to soups, cakes, and stews, apricots appear in almost every meal. In many households, apricots are even hung in long strings outside the home as a way to preserve and store them for the cold season. At over 2,000 meters above sea level, winters are long and the land cannot be farmed, so food is vital for survival. Each summer, the Hunza people harvest ripe apricots, halve them, remove the pits, and dry them in the mountain sun for many days to store for winter. When snow covers the valley, dried apricots become an energy bank. Just a few dried apricots and rye bread provide enough calories to endure the harsh cold months. Researchers also note that these calories help the Hunza maintain stamina while moving across steep terrain. The most valuable part of the apricot, however, is the pit. The pits are dried, the kernels separated, and cold-pressed into oil, which the Hunza use for cooking, massage, and daily skincare. Apricot kernel oil is rich in vitamin E, vitamin A, and natural fatty acids, helping moisturize the skin, prevent cracking, and protect against the dry, cold mountain climate. In traditional life, this oil is also seen as a family remedy, used for children and the elderly to relieve muscle and joint pain. From the 1920s onward, Western doctors and researchers visited Hunza to study the longevity diet and found a clear pattern. The Hunza ate very little meat, relied on whole grains and vegetables, and consumed fresh apricots, dried apricots, kernels, and apricot oil almost daily. Some records note that they minimized refined sugar and processed foods, keeping their diet close to a natural nutritional model. Their longevity is not mystical, but the result of regular physical activity, minimalist eating, and healthy fats from apricot kernel oil. Therefore, behind the story of the long-lived Hunza tribe is not a supernatural secret, but a mountain culture sustained by simple habits, beginning with a small, seemingly ordinary fruit. Number 6. A model of religious tolerance. In Hunza, religion doesn't appear as a rigid system of rules, but rather as a gentle stream flowing into daily life. The majority of the population follows Ismaili Shia Islam, revering Aga Khan as their spiritual leader, and their practice of faith clearly reflects this open spirit. Many scholars describe the Ismaili in Hunza as a form of living Islam, where doctrine is approached symbolically and introspectively rather than emphasizing formal rituals. Faith is not separate from life, but is intertwined with work, education, and community relationships. For the Ismaili, learning, working, and participating in volunteer activities are not only social responsibilities, but also seen as part of their spiritual journey. Building schools, operating healthcare facilities, supporting neighbors, and developing the community together are considered concrete ways to draw closer to God. This is evident during festivals like Janani or Imamat Day. The Hunza people pray at Jamat Khana, but afterward they still sing, dance, and play traditional musical instruments. Collective joy is not seen as contradictory to religion, but rather as a natural part of their faith life. Since the 1960s, visits by Aga Khan and the AKDN Development Network have reinforced this model. Schools, hospitals, clean water projects, and agricultural initiatives have helped Hunza improve its quality of life and achieve very high literacy rates, especially among women. Many families view their daughters' education and employment as a religious responsibility, rather than an act of defiance against tradition. Even within the family structure, the Ismaili faith has formed a unique balance. Although society remains patriarchal, women, holding the role of Ruli Gus, wield real decision-making power in food distribution, work coordination, and the education of their children, especially during the harsh winter months. In the context of the multi-religious Gilgit-Baltistan region, which has experienced periods of sectarian tension, Hunza is often cited as a microcosm of tolerance. Here, religion does not become a dividing line, but rather a foundation for peaceful coexistence and a civilized adaptation to the harsh mountain environment. Number 7. The soul of Hunza's ancient festivals. In Hunza, festivals don't exist as separate events, but rather as a continuous cycle of life connecting ancient agriculture, modern Ismaili religion, and the spirit of mountain sports. Festivals here are not just celebrations. They also help the community maintain harmony between humans and the harsh natural environment. The most typical example is Jinani, the wheat festival held on the summer solstice, when the longest day of the year marks the beginning of the harvest season. People bring the first bundles of wheat to the Chatak area near Baltit Fort, perform a ritual of smearing butter on the wheat stalks, recite prayers, then separate the grains, cook them, and mix them with dil tar, a local lassi, to share with the entire community as a harvest blessing. About 10 days before the main festival, the sounds of traditional harip music resound daily in front of the fort. Music is played continuously as a reminder of the approaching festival season and as a way to warm up the spirits of the people after the long winter. Harip also serves as the background music for most major occasions in Hunza. Drums, flutes, and string instruments set the rhythm for the collective dances, in which men and women participate together, transforming the festival into a multi-day experience of sound and movement, rather than just a symbolic ritual. Alongside the agricultural festivals are the everyday Ismaili festivals such as Imamat Day and Salgira. On these occasions, the community celebrates the spiritual leader Aga Khan with poetry, music, dance, and collective activities in the polo field or village center, both expressing faith and emphasizing the value of education and community development. Interspersed among these layers of ritual are the mountain sports festivals in the Hunza Gilgit region, such as the Baba Gundi Festival. Here, religious pilgrimages blend with traditional sports such as polo, yak racing, tug-of-war, and buzkashi. Buzkashi, a horse-riding race for a headless goat carcass, bears the imprint of ancient Central Asia and is considered both fierce and historically significant. Although less common today, it remains a part of the collective memory when people talk about festivals in Hunza and Gilgit. It is this combination of agricultural rituals, religious ceremonies, and mountain sports that makes the Hunza festival a reflection of how a mountain community has maintained its identity, social cohesion, and civilized adaptation to the harsh natural environment over centuries. Number 8. When blandness becomes a survival advantage. Hunza cuisine may appear milder at first glance compared to many other regions of Pakistan, but this very simplicity reflects the survival logic of the highlands, where each meal needs to provide enough energy for people to work in the cold and harsh climate. The traditional diet leans heavily towards plant-based foods with whole grains such as wheat, barley, buckwheat, seasonal vegetables, and dried fruits. Goat, yak, or lamb meat is more prevalent in winter or on special occasions, not a daily staple. Hunza cooking methods are also very minimalist to preserve nutritional value. They prioritize steaming, boiling, or grilling on cast iron griddles, using very little chili and strong spices. Fat is used in moderation from butter, ghee, or seed oils, creating a light, easy-to-eat flavor that is distinct from many of the spicy dishes of Pakistani cuisine. In that picture, apricots play an important role, but they are not the only element. The core of Hunza cuisine lies in whole grains and a regular, seasonal eating rhythm. Savory dishes like chap shuro, a flatbread filled with minced meat, onions, and herbs, baked to perfection, provide a warm energy boost during the mountain winter. Harissa, a meat porridge cooked with whole wheat until thick and then topped with ghee, is considered a warming food for laborers who walk and work in the fields in the cold weather. Snacks like burus shapik with local cheese, gyal buckwheat cakes, or diram fiti made from sprouted flour demonstrate a clear nutritional strategy: high in fiber, high in sustained energy, and low in refined sugar. The habit of drinking herbal teas and mild green tea, along with virtually no consumption of sugary drinks, helps maintain a naturally balanced diet. When combined with a daily exercise lifestyle, this neither too much nor too little diet creates a foundation for stable health, reduces metabolic stress, and is often cited as a key factor in the longevity and endurance of the Hunza people. Number 9. The mystery of the Hunza wedding. Weddings in Hunza are seen less as displays of wealth and more as reflections of community civilization. Instead of lavish celebrations that force families into long-term debt, weddings usually last 2 to 3 days, with many rituals but kept simple and centered on relatives, neighbors, and music. While in many parts of Pakistan the pressure of dowry and wedding costs has pushed families into financial crisis, the Ismaili community in Hunza is known for limiting excess, encouraging modest ceremonies, and valuing community presence over decoration or status. Most marriages are still arranged by the two families, but the voices of the bride and groom are generally respected more than in much of rural Pakistan. If one party disagrees, canceling the wedding is not seen as a serious loss of honor. Because of this, marriage outside the community or outside the Ismaili faith, although uncommon, is not strictly taboo. Many young people study or work in cities, then return to marry or bring their spouses back to the valley, showing a level of social flexibility unusual for a mountain community. Religiously, weddings follow the Islamic nikah ceremony, with a marriage contract, witnesses, prayers, and blessings. But after the formalities, the event turns into a lively celebration. Processions move along mountain roads, men wear traditional clothing and sometimes carry ceremonial swords, while women wear bright embroidered headdresses. Drums and flutes set the rhythm as the wedding becomes a communal stage where music allows the whole village to share the moment a new family is formed. One feature that surprises many outsiders is the circle dance to the rhythm of the didang drums, where men and women participate together instead of being separated as in many conservative Muslim settings. This reflects the softer, more open side of Ismaili Hunza culture, which maintains religious structure while creating space for collective joy, music, and the visible presence of women in public life. Even the financial aspect follows this philosophy. While dowry burdens elsewhere in Pakistan often fall heavily on the bride's family, field reports show that the Hunza Ismaili community deliberately reduces ostentatious expenses. Gifts are usually practical items such as bedding, simple household goods, local wooden furniture, and a symbolic mare that emphasizes the sacred meaning of marriage rather than material value. In some cases, mass weddings in the wider Ismaili community of northern Pakistan, including Hunza participants, are organized to avoid extravagant spending and help couples begin married life without financial pressure. Number 10. A unique language that challenges science. While many neighboring valleys in northern Pakistan primarily speak Indo-European or Tibeto-Burman languages, the Burusho people of Hunza speak Burushaski, one of the rarest phenomena in modern linguistics. Burushaski is classified as an isolated language, meaning that to date, scientists have not been able to prove its kinship with any other language in the world. For decades, scholars have tried to link Burushaski to European Basque, to Caucasian languages, or even to the languages of North American indigenous peoples. But none of the hypotheses have met scientific standards. What makes Burushaski even more special is the historical context of Hunza. For centuries, the valley has been a crossroads of many major cultures, situated near the trade routes connecting India, China, and Persia. Before the arrival of Islam, this area was a center of Buddhism and ancient indigenous beliefs. Today, the majority of Hunza's inhabitants follow Ismaili Islam, a branch of Shia Islam known for its strong community spirit and tradition of valuing education. Traces of earlier historical periods are still evident in the stone carvings and ancient ruins scattered throughout the valley. The history of migration, conflict, and resettlement over centuries has created a remarkable diversity of languages and cultures in the region. Yet, Amidst these upheavals, the Burusho people are considered the oldest resident community in Hunza. Their preservation of Burushaski, a language with no family ties, at the crossroads of major civilizations, demonstrates a high degree of isolation and a particularly strong sense of identity. In a land where languages often change with trade, religion, and political power, Burushaski continues to stand as a vibrant, undiluted imprint of human history. Number 11. The most beautiful but dangerous places. Hunza is a place where majestic beauty is always accompanied by a subtle sense of unease, captivating visitors while also making them wary. Here, the surrealism of nature is always coupled with a feeling of fragility in the face of the power of mountains and glaciers. One of the most iconic landmarks is the Hussaini Suspension Bridge. A suspension bridge made of ropes and wooden planks spanning the Hunza River, often referred to as one of the most dangerous bridges in the world. The planks are spaced far apart, strong mountain winds blow, and the bridge shakes noticeably, causing many to only dare to take a few steps before turning back. Right next to the new bridge, remnants of the old bridge, once swept away by floods, remain, with broken suspension cables and planks hanging precariously in midair, creating the image of a ghost bridge suspended in the Karakoram Valley. Not far away is Atabad Lake, a stunningly beautiful blue lake with a tragic origin. The lake was formed after a massive landslide in 2010, when an entire mountainside collapsed, blocking the Hunza River and submerging villages along a long stretch of the Karakoram Highway. What makes Atabad special is its unique beauty. Despite being only a little over a decade old, the area around the lake is already teeming with resorts, marinas, and water-based recreational activities, creating a tourist paradise built on the memory of a disaster that the locals still vividly recall. Further north, the Pasu Cones region impresses with its sharp, jagged peaks rising like blades along the Hunza River, offering a landscape that feels almost otherworldly. Crossing the Hussaini Bridge, visitors arrive at the Zarabad and Karamabad areas, which are almost uninhabited, with only farmland and abandoned houses remaining. The abrupt transition from a bustling tourist area to a nearly forgotten land creates a very different feeling for those filming vlogs, or exploring. On the historical level, the ancient village of Ganesh is considered one of Hunza's oldest settlements, with wooden houses, religious structures, and narrow pathways, offering a completely different atmosphere from Karimabad, which is more familiar to tourists. Above the valley lies Andhra Fort and the Andhra Poiga Steps, consisting of over 1,600 stone steps, built by the locals themselves over a period of about 2 months to revive the site. This structure creates a very distinctive Hunza destination, where an unusually long stone staircase connects the peaceful village below with the fort ruins perched on the mountainside. Number 12. The ATM on the rooftop of the world. Amidst the white snow and biting winds at Kunjarab Pass, at the highest point of the Karakoram Highway, lies a detail that surprises many travelers: an ATM located at a record-breaking altitude. This machine sits at approximately 4,693 meters above sea level and has been recognized by Guinness World Records since 2016, surpassing the previous Himalayan record by more than 300 meters. Geographically, the ATM is located in the Gojal region of Upper Hunza, near the border between Pakistan and China. From Karimabad or Aliabad, travelers must traverse numerous mountain passes and travel for hours to reach it. The ATM belongs to the National Bank of Pakistan and operates using a combination of solar and wind power, with an additional backup generator to withstand the freezing temperatures and frequent snowstorms. The technical team had to travel over 80 kilometers from the town of Sost to replenish the ATM and inspect the equipment in conditions prone to avalanches, so its continued operation was considered a technical achievement in the high mountains. For the local people, border guards, and customs officers, this ATM served as a rare financial infrastructure. For tourists, withdrawing money here was like a personal achievement. Many intentionally withdrew small denominations to keep the bills as souvenirs proving they had withdrawn money on the Karakoram mountain range. It's no surprise that images of the Kunjarab ATM frequently appeared in international newspapers and social media, symbolizing that technology can reach even the harshest environments and contributing to making Hunza and the Karakoram Highway a popular tourist destination on the world map. Number 13. Where the land holds affection. A clear example of how the Hunza community organizes social life is the Uthengi custom, often described as lending land to daughters for life. Research on inheritance in Hunza shows that women traditionally do not own land in their own name like men, but to ensure they are not entirely dependent, a father or brother may grant them lifetime rights to a piece of land, a garden, or a property. The woman can live on it, farm it, and benefit from it throughout her life, while the land remains within the family and is not sold or divided. After her death, it returns to her original family or her husband's family. Rather than denying rights, this practice represents a careful balance between supporting women's well-being and preserving land as a vital resource in a small mountain society. This same communal spirit is reflected in Jinani, the most significant wheat festival in Hunza. Around the summer solstice, when the longest day marks the beginning of the harvest, villagers gather near Baltit Fort. The central ritual is symbolic rather than festive. Community leaders and residents smear butter on the first wheat bundles for blessings. Then the grains are cooked, mixed with diltar, a thin yogurt, and shared equally. No one eats first, and no one eats alone, reminding everyone that the harvest belongs to the community, not to any individual. Weddings also follow this principle of survival and cooperation. Field records show that ceremonies usually take place after the harvest, when granaries are full, work has paused, and everyone can participate. This is not about choosing a lucky date, but about a practical social and economic calculation. Weddings are held when resources, food, and collective labor are available, so the event becomes a shared responsibility instead of a financial burden on one family. From the outside, these customs may seem unusual, but in Hunza they are simply the way a small highland society organizes rites, food, and celebration so that no one is left behind or forced to face the mountains alone. Number 14. What is the secret to happiness? In Hunza, happiness is not defined by income or the amount of wealth owned, but by the feeling of living in a state of sufficiency. The valley's economy is based on agriculture and small-scale tourism, where simple spending habits are the norm, and there is almost no pursuit of luxury goods or ostentatious displays of material possessions. Therefore, social status is rarely tied to money, but rather to how each person contributes to their family and community. This creates a slow pace of life, where financial pressure does not strongly influence spiritual life as in modern cities. The second factor contributing to the image of a I-happy village in Hunza is the clear future for women. Girls are educated, encouraged to pursue higher education, participate in the workforce, and return to serve the community without being seen as going against tradition. When women are educated, have a voice, and are economically independent, families become more stable, and the burden of livelihood is not concentrated on one gender. This is not a symbolic slogan of equality, but a survival strategy suited to the conditions of mountain societies. Finally, there is a sense of purpose in life each day. The Hunza people wake up to tend their gardens, irrigate their fields, cook for generations, teach, welcome guests, or participate in community work. Many studies on Hunza life point to a common thread. They rarely complain about work, seldom experience stress-related health problems, and consider enough to eat, enough to stay warm, enough to live, a true achievement. It is a form of happiness based on contentment and meaning, rather than chasing unlimited growth. Number 15. The Eighth Wonder. The Karakoram Highway, KKH, is often called the Eighth Wonder of the world, not only for its dramatic scenery, but also for the human and environmental cost behind it. Stretching roughly 1,300 kilometers from Hassan Abdal to Kashgar, the road passes through Gilgit Hunza and crosses the Kunjarab Pass at over 4,700 meters, making it one of the highest paved highways on Earth. Built jointly by Pakistan and China in the late 1960s, the project took more than 2 decades under extreme conditions of steel-hard rock, avalanches, earthquakes, sheer cliffs, and thin air. Hundreds of workers died during construction, turning the KKH into both an engineering marvel and a silent memorial. Yet this wonder remains fragile. The highway lies within the highly active Karakoram Range, surrounded by thousands of glaciers and hanging ice lakes, where a single abnormal melt can trigger a glacial lake outburst flood that destroys bridges, tears up roads, and isolates entire valleys. Research on mountain infrastructure shows that many sections require constant reinforcement, rerouting, or full reconstruction, including areas tied to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. The 2010 Atabad Lake disaster illustrates this vulnerability. A massive landslide dammed the Hunza River, creating a lake more than 20 kilometers long, submerging road segments and forcing traffic to rely on boats for years. New tunnels and bridges were later built, but the region remains one of the most disaster-prone points along the route. In recent years, climate change has intensified these threats. In 2022, abnormal melting from the Shisper Glacier caused a flood that destroyed the Hassanabad Bridge, disrupting transport and damaging Hunza. Studies warn that hanging ice lakes are increasing, while landslides and rockfalls are becoming more unpredictable. Without constant redesign and adaptation, this eighth wonder could be severed at any moment. Ultimately, the Karakoram Highway is more than a transport route. It represents an ongoing struggle between modern engineering and one of the world's fiercest mountain ranges, where every surviving kilometer is a temporary victory over nature.